Midweek results in MLS confirm that LAFC will finish top of the Western Conference. And they were in action at the weekend, where all 12 games carry potential playoff implications. We have every story covered here, beginning with a remarkable match in Los Angeles.
Guillermo Barros Schelotto's LA Galaxy had taken a paltry 5 points from their previous 8 MLS games. So with the playoffs on the horizon, a maximum haul at home to Sporting Kansas City was imperative. It was made all the more difficult midway through the first half when, against the run of play, Felipe Gutierrez gave SKC the lead with his 11th league goal of the season. 6 minutes later, the Galaxy were literally handed the chance to restore parity. Matt Beasler penalised for handball by referee Ted Uncle, who immediately pointed to the penalty spot. Zlatan Ibrahimovic had converted all 10 of his MLS penalties prior to facing Tim Melia, whose guesswork paid off, but whose defenders failed to beat Zlatan to the rebound. 1-1 at the break. Los Angeles-born midfielder Joe Corona was making his 27th MLS appearance in his first season with the Galaxy, and 3 minutes into the second half, grabbed his first goal for the club to put them in front. From that moment on, the home team never looked back. With the ball under his feet, Ibrahimovic showed brilliant close control before scoring his 25th MLS goal of 2019, a single-season record for a Galaxy player. By the midway point of the second half, they had complete control of proceedings. Christian Pavon did the twisting and turning, and unmarked Uriel Antuna did the sliding to take the Galaxy tally to 4. Sebastian Leget's last league goal for the Galaxy had been 6 months earlier. He made it 5-1 with 14 minutes remaining. Leggett only managed 3 goals in 28 MLS appearances last season. With 11 minutes left, he struck for the second time in one night to inflict even more misery on a tiring SKC defence. Ibrahimovic's goal-to-game ratio since joining Major League Soccer is frightening. With 5 minutes left, he completed his 3rd MLS hat-trick with his 48th goal in 52 appearances. It was a chastening night for SKC, who reduced the deficit with Gutierrez's second. But for the Galaxy, it was a huge boost in the race for the playoffs.
Pulses had been racing in Portland, with the Timbers on the playoff charge in the West.
Valeri to the byline, floating it behind Melia!
DC United were alive and kicking in the East, having resuscitated their flagging form.
Ariola could be in here and takes it coolly.
Who could keep their beat going at Providence Park? Clive Allen and Gary Taphouse are your commentators.
Here come Portland Timbers, and that's a good header from Valeri. Comes out to Loria. So close from Valeri. Williamson. And that deflects behind for a corner, while Valeri still holding his head, because you can't get much closer than that. Good run by Moreno. He's got it out to Segura, and it's in. It's come off the defender, I think, Tuiloma.
Yep, Tuiloma gets the final touch in front of his goalkeeper to concede the own goal. But it was an excellent build-up from DC United. The one-touch football here, you see, there's no danger, but he gets the touch in front of the keeper. Own goal conceded.
Wayne Rooney will try and whip this in. Keeper didn't really get there. Was it cleared off the line, or is it in? They're appealing. Officials say no. Well, it was very messy, very unconvincing. Is the whole of the ball over? It's
a millimetre.
So close, isn't it? Moreira's ball in. Well, Bill Hamid was struggling there. The crossbar is still rattling.
Moreira whips it, goalkeeper scrambling, and it's the crossbar that saves him.
Loria. Andy Polo. Valeri goes down. And they're screaming for a penalty. Referee tells him to get up. He certainly got to the ball first.
I think he's clipped as he's about to strike the ball. You can see the challenge coming in from Moreno.
Suddenly they could be in here. This could be a chance for Areola! Well, I think that's a brilliant stop from Steve Clark. Otherwise, it was 2-0.
I think it's a fingertip touch from the keeper to push it onto the upright. That's a brilliant save.
We played a very good team and we outplayed them, but the game is about goals, not how many crosses, not how many good things you do. There's a lot to build from, but we need to be better and keep on working, because even though we created a lot of situations, we were not as dangerous as we could have been.
Adrian Heath's Minnesota United began the weekend just 1 point behind Freddy Juarez's Real Salt Lake, who occupied second place in the Western Conference. It was RSL who struck first at Allianz Field. Jefferson Savarino was initially thwarted by Vito Manone, but Albert Rusnak somehow managed to find a gap between goalkeeper and post. The Slovakian's 10th league goal of 2019 matched his tally for the whole of last season. Minnesota's response was almost immediate. RSL failed to intercept Kevin Molino's through ball, leaving Darwin Quintero to sidestep his way past Nick Romando and equalise for the home team. The Loons' season has been built on firm foundations at home. Manone has been key to that, and after half an hour the Italian goalkeeper denied Savarino the chance to restore RSL's lead. Early in the second half, a combination of poor communication and passive defending allowed Minnesota to take full advantage. Quintero given far too much time and space to pick his spot and put the home team in front for the first time. His second of the game was his 10th MLS goal of the year. Veteran Minnesota midfielder Ozzy Alonso is not renowned for his goal scoring, but a few minutes later almost struck a goal to remember. In truth, a Loons victory was never under threat once they'd taken the lead, and with 7 minutes remaining, Ethan Finley came off the bench to seal the 3 points in style and strengthen Minnesota's case for a first appearance in the playoffs.
Both the Seattle Sounders and the New York Red Bulls had lost their previous games 2-0 against the Colorado Rapids, and both needed strong finishes to the season. The Sounders to cement a postseason place, the Red Bulls to hang on to one. Seattle had the perfect start. Nicolas Lodero's vicious corner eventually turned over the line by Jordan Morris. And the Sounders made it 2 halfway through the first half. This time Morris the creator with a dramatic diving header, and Lodero poking out a boot to finish. The Red Bulls were staring at a third consecutive defeat, but 27 minutes in, they were back in the game. Aaron Long with a precise header from a Michael Murillo cross. And with a quarter of the match remaining, once again, Seattle's defensive vulnerability was writ large. Torn open by Daniel Royer, Kaku sweeping home an equaliser. A predictably frenetic finish followed, and 7 minutes from time, it was Seattle who made their pressure pay. The substitute Victor Rodriguez exchanging passes with Morris, and Rodriguez's cross turned into his own net by Sean Davis. In the final minute of added-on time, and with the Red Bulls pushing, Christian Roldan appeared to break the offside trap, keep his cool, and then tee up Lodero to make it 4-2. The flag went up, but that decision was worth a second look, and in the end, the referee Alan Chapman did just that. It was the tightest of calls, but the goal stood, and the Sounders could celebrate a win that gives them some top 7 daylight, while the Red Bulls have lost 3 in a row and are in danger of seeing their season disintegrate.
The Red Bulls' rivals, Eastern Conference leaders NYCFC, were also in cross-conference action at home to the stuttering San Jose Earthquakes. While the Quakes' results of late have seen them falter, Major League Soccer's all-time record scorer continues to plunder the goals. Chris Wondolowski's 14th of the season and 158th of his career gave the visitors a 20th minute lead. A well-worked corner routine between Alexander Ring and Gary Mackay-Steven almost led to an impressive equaliser. 6'3" Keaton Parks is a formidable presence in the New York City midfield and made it felt 5 minutes before half-time. Parks following up his marauding run to claim his first MLS goal in what is his debut season. In the space of 3 first-half minutes, NYCFC went from trailing to leading. Alexandru Mitrita's 9th league goal of the campaign was his 3rd in 4 matches. San Jose responded immediately after the restart, but Christian Espinosa couldn't find a way past Sean Johnson. NYCFC unbeaten in 7, for San Jose a 5th defeat in 7.
If the Houston Dynamo were to entertain any notion of gate-crashing the playoff places in the West, then a win at already eliminated Vancouver seemed to be their minimum requirement. And after a goalless first half, it was the home side who had the chance to take the lead. A Jordi Reyna free kick, a Mauro Manotas handball, and the referee Robert Sibiger pointed to the spot. Manotas counting himself a little unfortunate. The responsibility fell to Hwang In Bum, and 9 minutes into the second half, Vancouver were in front. With 12 minutes remaining, the Dynamo's season was hanging by a thread, but they were thrown a significant lifeline as Zach McMath spilled a Minor Figueroa shot, and Manotas was there to seize the moment. As Houston pushed for the winner that they surely needed, the game had a 90th minute twist. Ali Adnan's quick feet created space. He found Theo Bair, and his touch fell to Freddie Montero, who kept his cool and, in all probability, put the postseason beyond Houston.
To Exploria Stadium, and with games running out, Orlando knew a win against New England would take them to within 1 point of their visitors, who sat just above the Eastern Conference playoff line. Commentary for this one comes from Dave Farrar.
Well, it's been a bright opening. Good pressure here from New England. Here's Fagundes. Just trying to create that opening. Goodness me, the cross overhit by some distance. Here's Gustavo Bo. Well, nice bit of skill there from Bo, and there's the cross as well, and it's deflected in. And it's Tesho Akindele. It's a remarkable own goal. Bo does really well. Not entirely sure what Akindele's doing. Pereira with the corner. Towards Nani! Terrific header. It was aimed in towards him, and then the placement just perfect, and nothing Matt Turner can do. It's been a lively tempo here. It's drifted forward now towards Pania. Has he got it right? He has. Fantastic finish from Christian Pania. Just outpaces Juan here. And that is just perfect. Rowe in no man's land. Now Bo. And Pania and Bo, and they're playing with confidence, and this is nicely worked and expertly finished by Gustavo Bo. 7 goals now in 10 MLS games. He has burst onto the scene. Here's Nani. Whipped in towards Dwyer! They're right back in this. A first goal since July for Dom Dwyer. His timing is perfect. Wide from Dwyer. Now Juan. Here's Nani. Searching for the opening. Nani! Draws them level in spectacular fashion. Oh, that is some goal from Nani. Waited for his moment and then executed. The wind now is in Orlando's sails. Here's Nani again into Akindele. Saved by Turner, Dwyer, and now Mendes. And none of them could take the chance. And they can't believe they haven't gone in front. Turner, to his credit, does really well. Wide from Mendes. Still time here for Orlando. Nani in towards Patino. Great first touch. Glorious save by Turner. And Orlando's dreams just won't come true here.
We wanted to win. We wanted 3 points. We knew this was the most important game for us. That was our final. We must continue positive. We still have games to fight, and this is a club who I believe in the future will be fighting every game.
3 weeks after leaving Toronto FC, the Colorado Rapids' new coach, Robin Fraser, was back at BMO Field to face his previous employers. TFC's former assistant coach saw his new side get off to the worst possible start. Inside 8 minutes, they fell behind to Tsubasa Endo's opener. And when Josie Altidore was pulled back by Colorado defender Lalas Abubakar 90 seconds later, it was looking ominous for Fraser and his Rapids. Alejandro Pozuelo is known for his flair, and even from 12 yards out, he took the opportunity to execute the perfect Panenka and extend TFC's lead. Despite the early setbacks, Colorado found their feet, and just after the half hour, Keegan Rosenberry reduced the arrears with his first league goal for the Rapids. With 7 minutes left of the first half, Toronto's healthy early advantage was in danger of being wiped out. A bit like the way Sam Nicholson was grounded by TFC goalkeeper Quinton Westberg. Regret then turned to redemption as Westberg kept out Kai Kamara's subsequent penalty to preserve the home team's lead going into the break. But it held for only 16 minutes after the interval. Nicholson's cross going straight in without a touch from Diego Rubio, though the Chilean's presence certainly confused the TFC defence. With their lead blown, Toronto needed a saviour, and who better to turn to than a hometown boy off the substitutes bench. Enter Jonathan Osorio, who marked his first appearance in a month with a goal to restore TFC's lead. In the closing moments, Altidore had the chance to add gloss to the victory, but Toronto had done just enough to take the points and make it a losing return for Fraser.
Staying in Canada, the playoff-chasing Montreal Impact had a seemingly simple task at home against an FC Cincinnati team who were yet to win under their coach Ron Jans and who were 3 away from breaking the record for goals conceded in an MLS season. It was therefore a major surprise when 24 seconds in, Alan Cruz gave the visitors the lead, and the rest of the game was all about the Impact trying to turn things round. And they looked like they might. Maxi Urruti denied by an excellent save from Przemysław Titon after a clever free-kick routine. Cincinnati were holding out stoutly, but 8 minutes before the end they had a major scare. Bakary Sagna on the charge and Joe Zhao making an ill-advised challenge. The referee, Rami Touchan, said no penalty and was not encouraged to have a second look by the VAR. Such, at this stage of the season, are the margins. Cincinnati would hold out for the win, but would do so with 10 men. Kendall Waston shown a second yellow card for a foul on Urruti. A big win, though, and a huge blow for the Impact.
The playoff flame still flickered for the Chicago Fire, who needed a victory at home to FC Dallas to stop it from being all but extinguished. They couldn't have asked for a better start. A terrible misunderstanding between Jesse Gonzalez and Matt Hedges in the Dallas defence presented a gift of an opening goal to CJ Sapong after only 7 minutes. His 12th in MLS this season. Polish midfielder Przemysław Frankowski, who scored the Fire's late equaliser away to Columbus 2 weeks earlier, punished a lacklustre Dallas defence to extend Chicago's lead in the 16th minute. The visitors continued to be a soft touch in front of their own goal, allowing Sapong to score his second and make it 3-0 to Chicago inside half an hour. If anyone needed a prayer, it was Dallas, whose defence again offered little resistance when an unchallenged Nemanja Nikolic steered in his 6th goal in 7 league appearances. The Fire 4 up at half-time. Chicago didn't let up after the break. Only the frame of Gonzalez's goal stopped them extending their lead. Dax McCarty and Sapong went agonisingly close. Nevertheless, it was still a playoff-boosting win for Veljko Paunovic's team.
It was the second best in the East against the best in the West at Talon Energy Stadium in Philadelphia as the red-hot MLS Cup favourites LAFC came to town. It was some game played with serious intensity and a hint maybe of what's to come in the postseason. The Union went in front 3 minutes in, Kacper Shibilko's looping header from Fafa Pico's cross. Philadelphia could have had a second halfway through the first half. Brendan Aronson with the powerful run and accurate shot, which was clawed away quite brilliantly by Tyler Miller. Both goalkeepers were in outstanding form. 10 minutes before half-time, Eduardo Atuesta got himself into position to shoot, but Andre Blake snaked out a left hand to turn it round the post. When the equaliser came, there was more than a touch of fortune about it. A cross to the far post, miscued by Mark Anthony Kaye, and falling to Carlos Vela via the crossbar for the marvellous Mexican to make it 28 goals for this MLS season. The Union came closest to winning it with just about the last kicks of the game. Sergio Santos saw an effort blocked, then Pico curved the follow-up wide. A breathless game that finished 1-1.
To our final game, which features MLS Cup holders Atlanta United, who'd already secured a playoff place, and the Columbus Crew, whose postseason hopes were hanging by a thread. There's a certain inevitability when the Five Stripes play an MLS game, and this one was no exception. For a record 14th game in a row, Josef Martinez found the net, his 24th goal in 26 league appearances, 1-0 to Atlanta after 19 minutes. Jazi Zardes has by no means been as prolific as his Atlanta counterpart, but the Columbus striker has pitched in with his fair share of goals since joining the Crew last year. Shortly after the restart, he followed up Luis Diaz's parried shot to blast the visitors' level, his 12th league goal of the season. Columbus were far from intimidated by their hosts and attacked in a style more associated with Atlanta. If Zardes' equaliser had been all power, Diaz's goal on the hour mark had more finesse. A second in as many away games for the Costa Rican gave the Crew the lead. The Five Stripes, who had only suffered one defeat in their previous 27 MLS home games, almost made it 2-2 with 12 minutes left. Martinez, for once, missing the target from close range. The home team did find the net with 5 minutes remaining. Sadly for them, defender Miles Robinson put through his own goal to ensure the Crew left with the points.
That win for Columbus keeps their slim playoff chances alive for the time being. There's no change to the top 7 in the East, but NYCFC extend their lead at the summit over Philadelphia to 5 points.
In the West, the Sounders are back up to second as RSL slip to 4th. Defeat in Chicago pushes FC Dallas out of the playoff places, and the LA Galaxy jump up 3 positions to 5th after their 7-goal showing.
And we leave you with that destruction of SKC, orchestrated once again by that man Zlatan.
Ibrahimovic for his hat-trick, you betcha! And 7!
I think I'm the best ever played in MLS, without joking.
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.